Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal laws and spiritual truths in the heart of West Hollywood. And I'm thrilled to announce our guest today, Emily Gallagher. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I'm so excited to have a conscious conversation. So,
yes.
So Emily is, she's the founder of Conscious Boss, and she's really just highly connected in the transformational conscious spiritual realm. And so I wanted to have her on here today to have a conversation about what does it mean to be a conscious boss, and what does that mean to you, first of all?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a conscious boss can mean different things to different people because it is kind of a very, like an umbrella, I guess. To me, conscious boss really is, through my work, I work with women in the wellness industry as a business coach. So I'm helping them step into their conscious-based businesses and become the conscious boss in that sense. So it is sort of entrepreneurial based, but it's also about being conscious of your thoughts. It's about being conscious of your habits, your behaviors, your spending patterns, about being a conscious consumer, conscious of how you show up in your relationships. So it's really about being in ownership of, your world and how you show up in that in all sort of sectors.
Yeah,
so
it's like a genre though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we have, I'm sure there's people watching, some people are like, what does it mean to be conscious versus there's mindfulness in all business these days. But I think there's a particular genre and there's a particular community, which is one of the reasons why I had you come on, because I think you're really good at connecting, you're really good at networking, and you go to things like Burning Man, and which is not necessarily for everybody. She's like in a suit and a dress one day, at Burning Man the next day. And so what does that look like? And I want to actually ask you something specific. I want to ask you, like, what would you say would be the foundational things to be considered in that genre? Because what distinguishes somebody from just being a mindful entrepreneur from being a conscious boss?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest messages about being a conscious boss, or as kind of one of my mantras, I guess, is about being about something bigger than yourself. So I guess mindfulness is very much about being mindful of yourself, mindful of your thoughts, being present, which is all definitely a pillar of being a conscious boss. But being a conscious boss is really as well about having a business that's about more than just yourself. Like you, for example, with the show, it's about more than just Erin sitting in a chair. It's really about you.
No, it really is all about me.
Giving you credit there, go with it. It's about, how can we impact positively our communities, the lives of people that we love, our customers, our clients, the wider world through our work as a conscious boss. So, having, my business is about connecting people, bringing around that energy of collaboration, busting through that competitive mentality we have. This year I'm starting a sponsorship for social enterprise. So those are the ways that as a conscious boss in my own business, I can contribute to the wider community. So it's really about how can we be about more than just myself or my message.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I consider it the same. I would say that's a great, one of the best descriptions I've ever heard around it, for sure. Something bigger than yourself, which I think all business is going towards. But I think there is this particular genre. You hang out with people like Preston Smiles and Alexi Panos. These are kind of big names in the conscious movement, and I love what they're up to, and they've got great creative videos on YouTube and all that. But what would you say, if you're somebody out there, you're watching this, and you're saying, okay, I clearly consider myself a conscious person. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a boss, or whatever you want to call it. Where am I going to find these communities? What communities and what networking would you suggest for people to reach out to? What are some of the kind of tribes that you'd recommend for people to get involved with?
Yeah, it's a great question. Because one of the biggest things is about, it's imperative that we are surrounded by these amazing people. And, everyone's amazing in their own right, but it's finding your people that inspire you and uplift you and make you feel connected. And with the internet these days, there's so many tribes, there's so many communities, and, there really is, like you said, this movement towards consciousness and connection, and so that people are more ready, I think, to connect openly and to be collaborative. So online and Facebook groups, there's so many ways, but also finding your kind of local group as well, because there really isn't any replacement for physical connection. That was a big part of how my brand started, was starting these networking groups in New Zealand, really bringing together people physically. So the biggest thing is really, comes down to yourself and thinking, okay, where am I at? Where am I thinking I want to go next? And who are the people that are doing that? So, it really comes down to being conscious of yourself and saying, what isn't working right now? Like, what's in my current community, what's in my current surrounding that I need to, elevate out of, and who's doing something, or who are some people I would like to connect to. And so it really comes down to like, what are my values, what's in alignment, and then looking outside to see where that is, and then putting yourselves in those environments. There are so many places, meetup.com, like Eventbrite, like all these places, there's so many, especially in a place like LA, there is just tens of thousands of places you could go to connect with high vibe, amazing people. So it really comes down to asking yourself, what do you want? And cutting out people that are in your life that aren't in alignment, and being really discerning around that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Great input, and we're going to get more into that. So
Yes.
we have to take a little break.
Cool.
But when we come back, I want to know more of what it was like, because I know you're in a traditional business degree,
Yeah.
how you made that quantum leap into the conscious realm. Because I'm sure there's people out there that are saying, okay, the whole business thing I like, but
Yeah.
I want to jump into the conscious world. So I want to hear more about your own personal thing and how somebody can do that, okay? So stay
Awesome.
tuned, you guys, for that
Yes.
conversation. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to the Dr. Erin Show. I'm thrilled to be here on this journey together. And I wanted to say that if you like, share, and comment this community, it's very important as we go higher together. I also want to invite you to download my app on everything from iTunes to iHeartRadio to Google+. I know right here and right now that each day I want to be in your life for 11 minutes, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's also 30 guided meditations on there, along with all kinds of goodies. So have a divine day, and may you live your truth. Hey guys, we're here with Emily Gallagher, and we're talking about what and how to take the conscious leap from traditional business to becoming a conscious boss. So what did that look like? How did you make that jump?
I mean, it's definitely been a journey. So, my business, I do have a degree in business. I got that when I was, 21. I graduated. I'm now 30. So it's a big, time between making that gap. But it was really just following a lot of whispers. I think something that people can get stuck on is waiting for this big, lightning bolt moment where everything changes, where it wasn't really like that. It was really following the whispers of what brought me joy. I lost my father when I was 24. I think that probably played a big part in me really deciding that I was going to step into what it was I really loved. And, climbing the corporate ladder in Australia just wasn't filling my soul up. So, I had a network marketing business for a while, and then I worked at Lululemon Athletica for a while doing events and working with wellness entrepreneurs. And then I actually came to New York to do a course when I was in a meditation one day. I did have kind of this moment of clarity where I got a bit of guidance, like, the network marketing thing isn't for you, but there's this other road that you could be taking. And it really kind of what I got out of that was just not deciding that I wasn't going to let fear rule my life. So I kind of came home, I started Conscious Boss, which was really just Instagrams and Facebooks and, putting things out there. And it was just following what lit me up. I always kind of knew that I wanted my own business, which is why I did network marketing. I think it was just really, just putting one foot in front of the other, and then it sort of morphed into what it is now. But it's just always being truthful and in integrity with what was saying yes to me inside, and being willing to say yes even when it was uncomfortable, and being, I worked a retail job when I was 28 trying to get it started, so it's just being committed and willing to say yes and do what you need to do to make it happen, to sort of do that transition.
Yeah, it's so big. So I love that, and I agree. I think that it just has to be a calling for people.
Yeah.
It's just something that you can't fake it, you can't do whatever. It just has to be a real authentic thing.
Yeah.
But going further into that conversation, so I know you just got back from Burning Man.
Yes.
Feels
like a world ago.
I've never been to Burning Man. I have tons of friends that go.
Yeah.
And from an outside perspective, it looks like a real drug-infested kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have that viewpoint myself, because I know a lot of people that are there, and I know the consciousness. And some people, maybe, I'm a purist. I don't do drugs. But I know there's medicines and all kinds of things. But I'm curious to know your thought around it, because, what does it mean? Do you have to go to a Burning Man to be a conscious boss? How do you get in with those people? without going to events like that where someone doesn't necessarily want to be going on the limb like that?
I mean, great question. And I think, you know, Burning Man is such a crazy experience. There's like 70,000 people that go. There's literally something for everyone. So of course you're going to get the people that go there and are on drugs the whole time. You get people that are going there in healing tents the whole time. You know, there's every single thing you could and could never imagine being there. You know, it's really about, you know, I think it's not about Burning Man, but it is about putting yourself in situations that stretch and challenge you. So Burning Man is a very challenging experience. You have to take everything that you need for a week. You know, it's so hot. You're in a tent. It's dusty. It's a crazy experience. There's so many different things to confront you, to face off with. You know, everyone kind of has a breakthrough on the playa. I broke down one day. You know, it's very healing. So no, you don't have to have a Burning Man, but you do have to put yourselves in those situations where you have the opportunity to face off. You know.
So wait. We want to hear about the breakdown. What
happened? No, it was just one afternoon. We were riding around in the day, and I just was, because everyone that I went with was like you know, we had a very strong and powerful group. So everyone was kind of up to amazing things in the world and up to great things, and very easy to kind of compare yourself and be sort of in your own space and feeling not good enough. So there was just a bit of that where I was just like, felt like an outsider. And
all those young women like in almost clothes like, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be next to this 20-year-old that's, you know,
exactly the same.
But I mean, you know what I mean? I'm sure some insecurities could come up.
It's definitely, I mean, that's what they say, you know, it's really going to test you, and the playa is going to, you know, the desert is going to bring out what needs to be, you know, faced off with. So, you know, and it was really interesting because at the end of the week we had a closing circle for the men and a closing circle for the women, and we went around and kind of just acknowledged everyone, and we all sort of shared something that had come up for us. And it was just interesting to see we all had something pretty similar. It was all kind of like this outsider thing, this comparison thing, and being in our own space. And it just really landed for me just how much everyone is in their own zone and going through their own stuff always, no matter who you're looking at. And just being grounded and experiencing, you know, being grateful for just... And just knowing, humbling that everyone's going through the same thing. And
that's interesting because when I've been in, you know, when I've worked with clients or I've been in big rooms where there's transformational work going on, I would say it always comes down to the same limiting beliefs. It's always like, I'm different, I feel divided, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love. Like those core things. And it's fascinating that those would come up for sure for almost anybody in a place like Burning Man. Fascinating.
So it's not so much about Burning Man, but it's more about putting yourselves in those situations that will stretch you, because it's only while being in those situations you can really see where the work is or where you can grow and like and sort of what you're made of in a sense, you know. So if we're always just kind of going down our lane and not changing or challenging anything, we just can't grow.
Interesting. So I love that. I never really thought about that, and I think it's so important. So we do have to take a break, but I think that is fascinating. It's like the ship that says you don't really have a true crew until you've gone through a storm. So I think that maybe like a Burning Man is kind of like a place where you bond, and in those relationships you build intense relationships that, you know, you just want to work with who you like, right? Okay, good. So when we come back, then I want to know what's going on in the industry from your perspective, because you may not know everything going on, but like where you see the industry going, where people can get involved, like in which festivals or which groups you think, and where you're going, because I know you don't like even have a home right now. You're like living like the laptop lifestyle, right? Okay. So when we come back, we're going to hear more about what's going on in the consciousness industry and where in the world is Emily. That's what we want to know. Okay, so stay tuned. Dr. Erin here, Doctor of Divinity, teaching universal laws and spiritual truth, and I am thrilled to announce the new show on Focus Television right here in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Join us weekly as I interview incredible people, celebrities to your next door neighbor, you name it, your girlfriend. We're going to dive into such topics as love and relationships, health and vitality, business and money, and creative expression. And I'm thrilled to just go on this awakening journey with you as we tap into meditation, visioning processes, intuition, and all the above. So stay tuned as we do this together. Hey, we're back with Emily, and we're going to hear about what is going on. From your perspective, what's happening in the conscious world, what events, what festivals, where you think people should go, and then we also want to know where you are residing these days. We know you've been all over the world, so.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, obviously that's a really big couple of questions. I think in terms of where do I see the industry going, I think it's a really awesome trend that's happening, which is conscious business. I mean, corporations are becoming more conscious. There is definitely a movement to the discerning consumer. So people are wanting to know more about, okay, what is this business doing? How are you showing up? And I think that with that also comes the shadow side, which is really making sure as a consumer, you're being really discerning about kind of what's behind that. You know, lots of people can be masquerading now because it's kind of trendy in a sense to be conscious and to do a conscious business. So I think it's like being wary that it's kind of moving in that direction. So if you're thinking about, you know, engaging in a conscious business, or if you're thinking of starting one as well, really making sure that that's in alignment with what you really believe and feel and something you really want to make an impact in. So that's kind of something, I think. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Like for example, you worked for Lululemon, and they're genius at networking and going to the right festivals and going to the right things. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like you understand, you have your thumb on that, you know, that heartbeat or whatever you want to say. Like, you know how the mindset around a company that is looking to network, collaborate in that world.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of the events manager in Auckland for a while, so I threw a lot of those events and was kind of in charge of building relationships and creating community. So I think, you know, creating community is a big one, and it kind of comes back to what we chatted about before, just in terms of really knowing yourself and knowing what you're wanting, what those gaps are that you want to fill in kind of your relationships and your network. One of the biggest things, especially when it comes to like networking and collaboration, is people feeling, I think sometimes like they have nothing to offer. So I think a big thing is really knowing, like, if you want to connect with people or you want to build relationships or be a part of a community, is really like owning your value and just knowing that you can show up and build those relationships no matter where you are. Like, everyone has something they can bring to that.
So that brings a good point. So say I am somebody who I want to work with. You know, I'm a small entrepreneur. I have maybe a coaching business or something like that. How would I reach out to a bigger company or somebody who is an influencer and I would say, you know, I want to bring a value to you? How could they bring value? Yeah,
so I mean, you touched it, kind of nailed it on the head right there when you said, I want to bring value. Lots of people don't lead with that. So really always making sure you're leading with what you can do for that person. A lot of people will be like, hey, I want to pick your brain or something like that. It's like, how is that valuable to the person you're reaching out to? So it's always thinking about first adding value. And there's always so many ways you can add value. So if someone has a book coming out, like, okay, you know, I'm going to help get you some pre-orders, or I'm going to help you, I'm going to share you with my audience. Maybe it's even just sharing some of their posts and starting to build that relationship. And really looking at how you can do that. I mean, you will have an audience, even if it's just friends and family. And busy influencers are still just people, and they're all trying to do the best that they can. And so if you can offer something like that, they can either say yes or no, but it's also about really playing the long game with the relationship. So never approach it with like a transactional basis. A lot of people would sort of do that, like, hey, I'm here and I want this thing now, as opposed to, this is a relationship I really see the value in building, and whether it means that it doesn't yield anything for me right now, I know that this is in alignment for where I want to go. So I'm going to plant the seeds for this relationship to grow.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of like dating. I call it like
totally.
Transactional versus transcending. Yeah. Like, you know, where you both win. Right? Yeah.
And my friend Joel Brown says something. He says, you know, lots of people are trying to take deposits out of an account they haven't put anything into, right? So they're trying to withdraw out of a bank that's got nothing in it. And that's how I think a lot of people do with collaborations and reaching out to build relationships. They have that mindset. So it's really always playing the long game and just investing. Even if it's just sharing someone's post, tagging some people in what they're doing. That stuff really helps. And it puts you on the radar of that person.
So another thing that I've noticed you do as a conscious boss, you have like a laptop lifestyle.
Yes.
Like you're traveling around, you're in Hawaii, you've been in LA, you've been in New Zealand, all over. So what does that look like? Is that hard? Is that good? Is that, I mean, it's like, I'm sure there's freedom, but then there's also some downside, right?
Absolutely. And I try to keep it as real as possible with people as well, because yes, it's amazing and it's exciting. It is so great. You know, I just am in LA for like 5 days before I go to Colorado, and then I'm home, and then I'm back. But it takes its toll, you know, my emails are stacking up. I'm transitioning like staff and stuff like that. So there's like a lot of space. There's a lot of things in my business that aren't moving forward right now, you know? So it's just getting a grip of that and knowing that, yes, you can do that, but, you know, is it going to impact the growth of the business? Possibly. So it's just kind of structuring things, which I'm learning a lot over the last 5 months. So next time I move around, it will be more of a base and more kind of like short trips. This has been like, I've been like on the go for like 5 months.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, but you also have to kind of do it with a little more time to actually do the business, because the business doesn't grow itself.
Yeah. Why?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not yet. Getting there.
As they say, as human beings, we need certainty and we need uncertainty. So I'm sure it's exciting to be,
straddle.
you know, rolling all around, but kind of, I don't think I would do well. I think I would need a base and then be able to do that. I don't think I could do just the lap. I know a few people that are doing well with that, and I think, wow.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, business has been building, and it's been super exciting, you know, 6 months for me. I think my soul needed it, my spirit needed it, and that's a big part of my business. So it's been awesome. And now I'm ready to get a little grounded.
Where do you think your home is going to be?
I think I'm going to be coming back to LA. So in about February. Yeah, so I'm going to be based in LA, I think, for most of next year. And just see, there's been a lot of surrender, a lot of just saying yes to what shows up. And so we'll see. It could be Timbuktu. I've got no clue. As long as there's Wi-Fi, I'll be good. Wi-Fi and cute boys, I'll be good.
Okay, good. Well, it's such a pleasure to connect.
Thank you for having me.
And, you know, we've met through some different communities and stuff, and I look forward to getting to know you more. And I'm definitely keep an eye out for Conscious Boss. This woman, she just has this energy about her that she's very community based and really gets the whole influencing things, where she really understands how to link up everybody. So I just want to say, like, how can they find you? What are the events real quick? Give them the kind of
.coms. Yeah, if we have anyone in Australia and New Zealand, I have a few events happening down there in October, November. For LA, probably next year. But consciousboss.com, Conscious Boss on Instagram, Conscious Boss on all the places. So that will get you to me.
So that'll get you all of it.
That'll get you everything.
Know everything.
Yes.
Get the notifications. So you click up top. So,
totally.
So thrilled to have you on Focus TV Network in West Hollywood.
Thank
the
you.
intention of the show is really to have a conscious, spiritual conversation of linking, really having people realize that you can have fun in the shift. That you don't have to go to Burning Man. It's okay, you can, or you don't have to, whichever. You don't have to be a hippie. You can be just an entrepreneur. You can be whatever you want. We want you to live your truth and live with the highest good for everyone, you guys. Okay, so have a great day, and may you live your truth.
Woohoo!